Hello. So, my name is Elaine.
I'm Chase.
I'm Mr. G.
And we are the SharkCast Podcast. And today we are talking about D&D, which, okay, Chase, can you explain to me what D&D is?
D&D is, to basically explain it in an easy way, because it's very hard to explain, it's basically playing pretend with your friends, but very, very detailed.
That sounds like a good game. That sounds like a fun game. So what type of games, is it like tag, like a type of game with your friends that you run around or something?
No, it's basically you have your D&D character sheet, and the DM, or also known as the Dungeon Master, who creates the world that you're playing in, thinks of something, like for example, you're in a tavern full of magical creatures such as dragons and stuff like that. Or they give you the scene, and then based off that, you go off of that. Like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, yeah, this happens. And then the DM basically has to picture everything. And then you also have to use your imagination, which is one of the more helpful things, which we'll soon get into. But you use your imagination to think of what it looks like and what the tavern looks like. And, yeah.
So I only know, sorry to interrupt, I don't know too much about it. And I know a little bit when I was growing up. But just to help Lainey understand a little bit. So it's a tabletop game, right? You'd play it around the table, usually with a board and dice, things like that. So it's that type of game. And the interesting part, from what I understand, is how so much of it is either made up on the spot, like the Dungeon Master will kind of make the story up as they go along, or that just most of it happens in your head. It's a story in your head as opposed to seeing the action play out on the board. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, so because when you were explaining that, I thought that it was like something that you were to play online, but to my understanding, so
you can play it online.
Mr. G mentioned that it's something like a card game, not like a card game, like
not
a board
card game.
So it's a board game.
It's not really a board game either.
All right, yeah. Please inform me on my mistakes.
It's basically you have a map on the table of where your surroundings look like, and you have these little 3D figurines, and you have them on the map. And
so like chess?
And then basically, no. And basically the DM gives you a scenario. And it's like, for example, you're trapped inside a tavern where there's a lot of angry customers, and you're work there. And then you just say, oh, I want to defeat all the angry customers, especially the one named Karen. And then the DM tells you oh, yeah, you do that. But this happens, and in order to decide that, you need to roll a dice, which can decide a lot of things.
And that seems like that's really the main action, is the Dungeon Master tells you a story, tells you about I know quest is what they use a lot of the time, and then any actions. If Lainey wanted to try something, if she wanted to scale a wall or try to convince somebody of something, it's rolling dice to determine.
Yep.
Okay, and it's obviously a higher dice roll.
Yeah, so 20 is the best and 1 is the worst.
This game kind of reminds me of the Candy Cane Lane game, because you have to go on the. It's kind of very similar because there's a map, and you have to roll there's the people.
You don't move them on the map. The map's just there with your character.
All right, well, it's been a while, okay? It's been since 2017. Give me a break. Anyways, so about D&D, is that how you say it?
Dungeons & Dragons.
Dungeons & Dragons. So, you said you could play it online, too. Is there any, differences? Is there anything to, compare?
I feel like online, all you really need to do is, Zoom. And you could FaceTime anyone. Or it's just, you need to be in person in order to do it, or online. If during COVID, you could do D&D sessions through Zoom. And it was also really helpful, too, through Discord. Because then you could be like, hey, this goblin said something, but the rest of the group doesn't know except for you. And then you could just message them what the goblin said. That way everyone else doesn't be like, oh, is that what the goblin said? Even though they don't speak goblin.
What... Can you explain to me who the goblin is? Because I don't remember.
Oh, no, it was just a scenario.
Oh, all right.
Just to jump in for a sec, I know, Chase, we discussed a little bit that D&D is what they call Dungeons & Dragons.
Yep.
I know for the longest time it was always sort of a Middle Ages fantasy type thing with literal dragons and dungeons, but it's gone much more beyond that, where it doesn't have to be like a wizard and a king and things like that, right?
Yeah, it could be old western, it could be sci-fi, it could be in the future, it could be any theme. It doesn't just have to be old stuff, but it tends to be.
So if you and Lainey were looking to start a Dungeons and Dragons, would you call it a game or campaign? What would you call it?
I would call it a group until we get more people. Then you can call it a campaign, because one other person doesn't really make it a campaign. You at least need 3 people to call it a campaign. But I recommend for the DM, you grab a book at the library, the Kickstarter, and you just go on from there. It'll give you all the guides on how to make your character, how to roll for stats, and it will just give you a world, and you can just work on from that.
Oh, so the game is called the game is called Dungeons and Dragons, but is it like quite literally dragons being trapped in dungeons?
No, so
Or
dungeons.
is that just my weird imagination?
No, so dungeons is basically mean like where you go out into this world that's generated by your DM, and you fight creatures and save whatever your mission is for your DM or whatever you started. For example, how a lot of stories start, like the DM gives you thing like, hey, this dragon slayed a whole village. Your goal is not to kill it. Or you can just start one, like how I did for some of my campaigns, where I killed a very important bartender, and now I gotta resurrect him. So that's how it started for some D&D stories. But dragons part means like it's fantasy. It's not literal dragons.
So like Dungeons and Dragons, is it a game like online? So I know that it's a board game, right?
No, it's not a board game.
Oh.
It's your fantasy, it's your imagination, your creativity. Once again, I'm just saying that there's a map.
So
it does not mean it's a
Pictionary?
board game. Yes. You just imagine.
Oh.
For example,
That's weird. I
you
didn't think
are
of it
in
like
a
that.
tavern and it looks old and rusty. What do? You could do anything.
What do I do? Well, I mean, I would just start drawing like a dragon and a dungeon.
Well, you can't draw stuff.
Oh, I thought you said it was Pictionary.
No, I did not. When did I say that?
A
I did-
while ago.
I did not say that. I said you use your imagination in your head.
I asked if it was Pictionary, and you said
No.
yes.
All right, well, that's sometimes if there's cross-talking, there can be a misunderstanding. But I would say by the strict definition, it might not be a board game in the sense of Candyland or Scrabble and things like that, because I know a lot of it is imaginative and creative. But I'm sure a lot of people would define it as a board game because it's a game that you play usually around a big board with a lot of friends. So that could be
Well, you could also just play with paper and dice.
exactly. So that leads me to my point. If you guys were going to start a group right now, what would you need to start the D&D? If someone wants to start, what do they need?
You need a DM and at least a player. A DM is the person who once again makes the whole world and like sets the scenario and makes the NPCs that you talk to, non-player characters, and also just gives you a quest and stuff. But the player is one who goes through it and says, oh, I want to do that, I want to do this. I have done many campaigns before where my character was Zuko, half human, half fox, where let's just say it was very chaotic. Like one time a goblin tried to assassinate me, but I wrapped him up and named him Timmy despite his name being completely something else, and I treated him like a baby. It was very fun.
So that's a good example of what I've seen anytime people have talked about D&D. It's that anything that you can imagine can happen. The dungeon master will lay out some rules, but then any of the players can just choose one of the most ridiculous choices. Like you said, it might be going to rescue the dragon, but some teammate might want to team up with the dragon and ride the dragon.
Yeah.
And that's something you could try to do, right?
Yeah. I also, another funny story was we were robbing this guy because in my group, we were bandits. And I remember the guy ran into a tavern. And when we ran in there, all of a sudden, these 3 ogres looked at us like, hey, what are you doing here? This is a private tavern. And we're like, oh, never mind. And we slowly backed away. But there's a lot of funny scenarios, too, that the DM gives you that you could just absolutely destroy the DM's game. For example, oh yeah, there's a lady standing there who seems like you need her help. Oh, I wish to kill. And it's like, no, you cannot kill. It's like, I wish to kill. And you roll 20. It's like, I spent one time 20 hours designing an NPC just for my characters in my party campaign to kill the moment they saw them.
Chase, you have had some funny experiences.
See.
Is there anything that, like, so, like, you know how this is all coming naturally to you. Like, you have a lot of experience, obviously.
Yes.
What would you give, like, what advice would you give to someone who is just beginning D&D?
Go crazy. Make up your character. You can come up with anything. Usually for me, as playing as a DM, I tend to give bonus points or bonus add-ons for how creative it is. Like, for example, instead of just saying, I want to attack the Rat King, my character climbed a tree and tried to pounce on the Rat King, but then ended up crashing into a soldier. So, yeah. But it's creative, nonetheless.
So what would you say to some teachers who would confuse this with any other game and just think, oh, D&D, it's sort of like a mindless video game. It doesn't teach you anything. Are there any skills you learned from it?
It teaches you how to be organized, because I've lost my character sheet many, many times, and it's like one of the most important things for D&D, because it tells your character stats and their background and their weapon attack damage and their bonuses and whatever not. It also teaches you to be imaginative, because, like, you're on an old creaky tavern. It's like you got to imagine that. It's not in front of you, which is very helpful. And also, it can make you come up with a lot of stories, too, like, of yourself. And that's how I became a DM. I had so many campaigns where I'm like, ooh, that's cool. And I added it together. And now I'm a DM for most of my campaigns. But I prefer being a player.
So what would you say to people? We're going to be getting ready to wrap up right now, but I think we might be trying out a little example of a introductory D&D for us right here so some of our listeners can get an experience. But what would you say to someone who thinks they know about D&D? They're not interested. They've heard of D&D. It's not for them. How would you convince them to check it out?
At least play one round. Create your own character. It's really fun. And if you if you don't have an imagination, you just can look up.
I don't have one.
You can just look up on one online, copy that, and that could be your character. And then you just sit down, at least for a couple minutes, do a short one, because sometimes D&D campaigns can take months or weeks. You just sit down for a short hour one and see how you like it. And yeah, so thank you all for listening in. At the end of this video, we will put at how Elaine and Mr. G handle the story of me being the DM, and I hope you have a good day.
It's very hard to handle.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
So to start off, we are doing a random setting because they're testing me. And so we're starting off at a old pizza shop in the, what did you say again?
In 1987.
It's the Freddy Fazbear reference, but don't worry, there's hopefully not going to be anything to do with that. So to start off, I want you to each choose a special ability out of these three options. Would you rather be super strong, super fast, or super smart?
I'll be super strong.
I'll be super smart.
Okay.
Just like the smart man behind the
Horror.
yeah
No.
censor.
Horror. Okay, so your journey starts off. You're a couple of friends having a nice time at a table, eating some Freddy Fazbear pizza, and you are enjoying things, and there's a lot of people there too. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of pizza place. A lot of old stuff and a lot of fun things. What would you like to do to start off?
I would like to me personally, I want to go find some kids.
You are surrounded by children running, screaming, and falling headfirst
Well,
into
then.
their ice cream.
I want some of them to follow me.
I want you to do rock, paper, scissors, shoot with Mr. G since we don't have a dice. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Best out of 3, because I don't trust thee.
Best out of 3?
Yes, go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh.
Best out of 3. Best out of 3. Best out of 3.
Okay, fine,
By the way, I got the paper and he got the scissors.
Oh,
Okay,
yes,
so
we
come
should
on.
call it out.
We
That's
should,
right.
yeah, because they can't see anything.
Right.
Okay, ready?
Rock.
Rock.
Rock, paper, scissors. Paper.
Paper.
Scissors.
Yes. Okay. So
Hey,
it's
no,
1-1.
hold on.
Wait.
It's
This is
1-1.
tiebreaker. This is tiebreaker.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Cut.
Oh!
But I want these children to follow me.
Listen, since you won, I'll give you one. You go up to a child and you're like, hey, come with me. The parent was also there and looks at you like you're a total maniac and like grabs their child and walks away from you. So, yeah, now moving on to Mr. G, what would you like to do?
You just changed the entire lore book.
Why?
This is not Freddy Fazbear.
Oh.
This is D&D.
Right,
Calm
right.
down.
Snap.
So
Shucks.
I need some more. I'm out of root beer. I need more root beer.
You go up to the counter where you see an old goblin pouring out root beer and sodas for crazy little children running around. He looks at you and says, will it be the root beer? What would you like to respond?
Yes, please.
What if
You
you're
like-
an introvert? What if you just don't respond and take the root beer?
So he
So
slowly...
let's try that instead. Since this is an intro, I am too shy and I don't say anything. He asked me about it and I just stand still.
He looks at you, grabs the cup out of your hand, and slowly fills it up with root beer and hands it back to you, and says, "Don't let those little monsters bite your ankles off." And you sit back at the table. Elaine, now it's your turn.
Do I pick something that I want?
You
to
can do whatever you want. Yeah, Elaine's doing the math.
I am calculating my smart man abilities. I am.
Oh my
putting it
god!
to
If
the
you're gonna
test.
try to recreate Springtrap, I swear.
Okay. I want to find a spring look suit.
Oh my god! You see that there is a door that says workers only, but you cannot open it. It requires a key.
I am the owner of the entire franchise.
You are
I
not.
have the key.
You are not owner.
I built the place.
What-
I built the animatronics. I am the manager. I have the key and I open the door.
Stop being a Karen or else that Goblin's guy gonna...
Bro.
Stop being a Karen.
Bro, you're...
You also look around and you can notice that since you're super duper smart, that you realize the guy who served Mr. G the root beer has a small key in his back pocket.
I hired him. How does he have the key?
You do not work at that.
I am the manager.
Pizza.
I am the manager.
Stop being a Karen, Elaine. Cut her off. Okay, Mr. G, what would you like?
I'm going to try to steal the key from the back pocket.
Rough, paper, scissors, shoot. Best out of 3, Elaine.
Wait, why are we doing this again?
Well, he wants to steal the key. And
Oh, he wants to steal the key from me so that
no, from the guy serving the root beer.
Why does he want to steal it?
For the reason that you want to steal it too.
So that I can,
so he wants to die as well.
I want the key
I
so that I
swear
can
to
sell
God.
it to Lainey.
Oh,
selling the key.
Okay, then we don't even have to. You can get the key.
Okay, listen. Since you want to sell it to her, I'm gonna allow her. If she wins, she's gonna be able to have a chance to get the key before you. So rock, paper, scissors, shoot against each other. I'll announce.
Alright.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock and scissors. Mr. G gets 1 point. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Mr. G wins. And
Again! Let me find the bring luck to please.
Mr. G walks up to the guy, and since he's shy, he manages to slowly reach while he's filling up what seems to be a glass of soda, and quickly takes it.
Wait. I want to ask.
The goblin who is very old turns around and looks at you, holding the key out in the open. What would you like to say?
This is not your key.
He looks at you and checks his back pocket and looks back at you and he reaches his hand out back asking for the key.
I use my super strength to crush the key.
Elaine's like cycling.
I use my super smartness to build it back to put it back
Hold
to
on,
you.
it's not your turn.
All right.
In order to do that action, you must do rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Wait, no. It's my turn. It's my turn.
No, Elaine, it's his turn.
We'll make them 1 games instead of best of 3s.
Okay, fine. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
So
one
this is
of
the
them.
end.
Wait for what?
To see if he smashes
if I can
the
break
key.
the key or not.
Oh, all right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
The key almost. I just squeeze it in your hand. You only dent it a little bit because it is humanly impossible to dent that key. Because also children steal all the time and also do stuff to it all the time. The guy looks at you and is starting to get a little bit angry. Elena, it's now your turn.
All right.
Come on, Elaine, you gotta think this.
I want to gaslight my son into pranking his brother.
You do not have a son.
I am the William Afton.
You are not.
I have children.
You are not William Afton. This is not. You're not recreating Freddy Fazbear.
Shucks. I thought I was role playing as William Afton.
No, you can. No, you're yourself. Oh, okay.
Okay. Then, if I'm doing myself, I want to buy some candy. Actually, I want to buy some white Mentos.
You go up to the counter where you see Mr. G's holding the key, and the goblin guy is looking at him angrily with his hand out. What would you like to do?
I would like to put the Mentos in Mr. G's root beer.
You currently do not have Mentos.
I currently bought the Mentos with...
He is right now staring at Mr. G asking for the key.
Okay. Then I would like to buy the white Mentos.
He looks over at you and says, I'm kind of busy. Come back in a couple seconds. Mr. G, is now your turn. He's right now staring very angrily at you, asking for the key.
I throw the key with my super strength through a wall.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Wait, what are we...
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And
How?
Mr. G.
You're breaking the system. This is not fair.
Okay, Mr. G throws the key into an old arcade game that is shut down.
Wait.
And the key crumbles inside of it.
Wait, can it be the employees only door so that I can walk
it
in?
Currently is not. It's an old arcade game. The key seems to be still intact, just piles and piles of debris because of the arcade machine caving in because of how strong you threw it. The goblin guy looks at you and says, you know what? We're putting you in timeout. We're putting you in timeout. And he takes a little lever and he pulls it, causing you to fall down into the basement. He closes the lever and looks back at Elaine, where he says, how can I help you?
I would like to buy some white Mentos.
He looks at you and says, that'd be 25 cents, please.
I pay the guy.
You currently have no money on you.
I currently steal from someone. Here's the money.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot to see if you can steal from a little children.
Let's roll the dice.
Oh, roll the dice. Never mind. Ready, go. Click on it. Oh, there you go. 9.
What does this mean?
Okay, so move your hand. You managed to stop a child and said, hey, do you have any money? The child looks at you and starts screaming, Mom, someone's trying to rob me. What would you like to do, Elaine?
I would like...
Oh, wait. Yeah. Say what you want to do first.
I would like to pull on that child's shirt so that I could still get the money from them since it's in their pocket.
Roll the dice. Let's see. 9 again. You pick up the child by the shirt where he manages to kick you in the leg and you drop him and he runs towards his mom. what would you like to do, Mr. G? You wake up in a soggy, wet basement, and you see the employee's door, where it enrolls you in a candy cane kind of jail, and you see 2 goblins there to seem that are tying up pizzas and also baking them. You seem to be in the bottom basement of the kitchen. And also, this is a perfect time to wrap up. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll continue the story soon. And have a good day.